be good. Stream should be good.
Excellent.
Do I look blurry?
No, you look voluptuous.
That's not the word I wanted.
Is that a word?
that is a word. Don't know if it's the right word.
I love that the first minute of the stream is it's going to begin with "You look voluptuous."
Of course.
Oh my gosh, it is so bright in my background.
It's fine. I can
You're okay.
Through editing. I can fix. I can.
Jesse's just gonna draw a black X over the background in editing. Just
ignore
Through
all
editing.
of this.
through the magic of editing. And she's gone. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. The stream is over. I feel like I'm gonna elbow this and knock it over. I'm gonna put my mug right here.
Is that a printer?
Yes.
Is it a cool printer?
I mean, it works.
What was the last thing you printed? Documents? Documents.
With paper. Documents.
I believe you.
Okay.
Okay, so people who are
It worked.
watching, join the Discord. In the Discord, you will see a group called Zelda Mailbag. You can go put your question there, and at the end of this podcast, we will answer your questions. So
Yes.
we are promoting on the Twitters and the Facebooks and everything, and trying our best to act like we are professional.
Attempting. We're really trying.
It is a miracle that we are even able to do this, really.
It's magic
Yeah.
that allows us.
Okay, so are we ready, guys?
I'm ready. I've been ready for like an hour.
I'm so sorry.
I see Tevi and Clements. Clements was here like 30 minutes before we began.
Oh, man.
Z-Fan Clements, yes. So let me post this.
Whew, we are getting some questions in here.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to post the Discord link.
You can't.
Oh. Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joshing you. I'm just.
Okay. So here's the Discord link for everyone. You can join, put your questions in the Zelda mailbag, and at the end of the podcast, we will answer all of your questions.
Yes.
Some of your questions.
All of them.
A couple
Fishing the
of
questions out as they come in.
the good questions.
Well, I'm fishing all of them out, but we will answer the good ones. Yes.
Okay. And everyone has access to the second Google Doc, the 10 games.
10 games.
Why are there two
Yes.
Google Docs?
Because
One's the normal one.
it's to keep it organized and looking nice. Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, everybody ready?
I'm ready.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, alright. You good, Tubes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Still with us? Okay.
Oh, he has a guitar! Sorry, I got excited.
What doesn't
Stop.
he do?
Stop looking at my background.
Alright, oh, he has a
He's a,
shield.
he's a magic man.
Alright, Daniel, you ready?
I'm ready.
Alright. What's up, everyone? I am Jesse, or Game Over Jesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us is Daniel and Chablima for the Hylian Gamescast, episode 57, I believe, for
Ooh.
October 15th, 2018.
Our
And-
stream is titled 56.
Oh, well,
Uh-oh.
something.
Uh-oh.
50 it's episode 56 then. Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 Nintendo games for October. we're a little bit late on it. We're going to be talking about Zelda Ura and trying to solve some misinformation that I seen recently. We are going to talk about Nintendo filing a patent for a phone case that lets you play Game Boy or Game Boy Advanced games on your phone. Improvements for the new Nintendo Switch that was also rumored or leaked by the Wall Street Journal recently. And if we have time, we're going to be talking about the upcoming PlayStation 5 rumor. And then we're going to be getting into your questions and answering all of the questions that you guys sent in. So, if you have your question that you would love to give us, to have us answer here on the podcast, but sometimes we can't answer every single question. So if there are too many questions, a way that you can guarantee to have your question is by going to patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can just give a single $1 and get a bunch of cool stuff, as well as guaranteeing your question to be answered. So starting off, we have shout outs for all of our amazing Patreons. We have Jacob, Michael, Elmer, Bootleg Boy, Gus, Justin, That One Pancake, Key of Time 15, Monica, Casey, Link, Use the Triforce, Megan, Lunarium, Robbie, Shadow to Us, Rusty, and Lovable Christy. It's been a while, guys. I apologize if that was a bit rougher than usual. So I think we can get into our first news topic, the top 10 Nintendo games of October. So we're about halfway through the month. So some of these games have already released, some have just come out, and then some are going to be coming out over the next couple of weeks. So, are you guys ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast. For this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 games releasing or that have released in October 2018. These are for mainly the Nintendo Switch, but there are a couple here for the Nintendo 3DS. So some of these, since this is the middle of the month, I just explained, some of these have already released, some are releasing within the next few days, and some will be releasing towards the end of the month as we get closer to Halloween. We're going to try and have these videos either at the very end of the month, preparing all of the Nintendo fans for the upcoming month, or we're going to have it on the first day or as close to the first day of the month as we can to talk about the games that we're excited about that are going to be releasing this month. So, starting off, we had our first game, and these are in order that they released. So we have Megaman 11 on October 2nd, which came out on the Switch and a bunch of other consoles. We had Mario Party, which released on October 5th. And I think, Choobs, I think you were probably the most excited for this game.
Mario Party?
Yeah, because it's going to be your job actually demoing this game for Nintendo, right? Maybe, possibly.
It will be. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell us about this game.
Tell us things.
Oh yeah, so we won't be giving a description of all 10 games because some of them are self-explanatory, but the more important ones we will, to try to keep this as short as we can. So, Choobs.
I don't know where to start with What?
I was going to say, do you have the dock open?
I was going to say, can you give me permission because it won't let me log into my Gmail on
Jesse!
No, it's because I'm on camera and it's like I can't. My life is just a disaster right now. I'm so sorry to everyone watching the podcast. It's like everything was set up and I was going to use my boyfriend's computer and life was good, but his webcam wouldn't work. So I pulled up my laptop and it wouldn't work there. So now I'm on my phone.
It would not be an official podcast without technical difficulties.
beat me to the punch there.
Maybe on the edited version, we can make it seem a bit smoother.
Seem like I actually know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, they all know we don't know what we're doing.
Right. So, I have an idea. A little bit behind the scenes stuff for everyone that's currently watching. So, we're going to redo this, go through the top 10 list, and then we're going to go back and just talk about the 3 that I have the descriptions for. That way we can quickly get through the 10, and then we can just do the description for the I wouldn't say the more important ones, but yeah. All right. So number 1, we have Megaman 11 on October 2nd. Number 2, Mario Party, which released on October 5th for the Nintendo Switch. Number 3, we have Luigi's Mansion, which released on October 12th for the Nintendo 3DS. We have The World Ends With You, released on October 12th. Lego DC Supervillains, which I'm kind of excited for, that releases tomorrow. We have Starlink Battle for Atlas, which also releases tomorrow on the 16th. We have Jackbox Party Pack 5, which was a game in the series that provided us with many hours of fun at E3.
Yes, I'm really excited for that one, actually.
Releases October 17th. We have the Dark Souls releasing on October 19th. Just Dance on October 23rd. Finally, Harry Potter Collection on October 30th, the day before Halloween. Another one that I'm really excited for. So, Choobs, do you have the document open now?
I have it.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right, tell us all about Mario Party.
All right. So, Mario Party, the original 4-player Mario Party series board game mode that fans love is back. So you and your friends and family are invited to join the party. And so now in this one, they have a couple of different modes. They have the partner mode where you can freely move around the board and choose where to move. And then the person that gets those stars, of course, wins. And then they have the regular board game mode as well, which I feel like that one was almost an afterthought because the partner mode was so polished. So you can test your skills in sets of 5 minigames with the new mode, Mariothon, and see how you stack up against players across the globe in online Mariothon. I actually haven't tried this mode. I don't I don't know anyone that has this game aside from me, so hit me up, we'll try it out. And whether you're pedaling tricycles, flipping meat, or who knows what else, you'll use Joy-Con controllers in clever ways across 80 new minigames. Some are all-out free-for-alls, others are 2v2, and even 1v3. Oh, Toad's Rec Room. Don't get me started on Toad's Rec Room. So we actually talked about the banana patent thing, where you can connect the consoles together, and then you slide to connect the bananas. So, of course, I don't know anyone else that has this game other than me, especially in person, so I haven't been able to try it. But I just need to say that the baseball minigame that they have in Toad's Rec Room is hilarious. I laughed myself to tears playing it. Because it's there's no background music, it's just Toad. And it's Toad cheering the same cheer over and over and over. And you can fake out computers really easily, and it's a disaster. I never want to go to Toad's Rec Room again.
I love it.
Yeah.
I get this game, that's all I'm gonna do. So the one thing that's holding me back for Mario Party is the lack of online sort of functionality. You can't play the base game online though, right?
Yeah.
Am I right on this? Just the mini games, yeah. So that kind of makes me a sad face.
Yeah, it is a big letdown, but maybe that's something they can improve. Obviously, there's multiple Mario Party games that come out for every system, or usually there is. So hopefully that's something they can add for the next one, making the base game online.
Yeah, and they could also patch it even, or do an update that adds it as well. But
yeah,
yep.
Out of 10...
Maya in the chat said, I totally love it.
Nice. Out of 10 bananas, how many bananas do you give this game, Choobs?
I'm gonna give it like a 7, maybe a 7.5.
7.5 bananas.
7.5 bananas. That's one entire banana that's probably gonna go bad if nobody eats it right away. But there are a lot of things that I love about this game. Like, the mini games are amazing. But I feel like a lot of other things that are happening in this game definitely weren't really polished. Like, they have that new, like, river raft mode. It's boring. You just have to grind through it to get the gem.
Oh.
Did you play the Mario Party 100 for the 3DS? Or was it Mario Party 100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100. Like, it gives you 100 mini games that you basically just play through.
All right. So would you
So
rather?
it's not just the base game; it's like only mini games.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Would you rather
I think
have?
they had like a random.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, would you rather have that for the Switch, or are you happier having this for the Switch? Because when Mario Party 100 came out, I thought this would be perfect for them to just release like a collection of the top 100 Mario Party things for the Nintendo Switch, but it was for the 3DS, so I thought it was kind of odd.
Well, I mean, based on how much I've played of Mario Party 100, it wasn't that good. Like, like I really liked that they included so many of the mini games, but it wasn't very polished. So for me, I'm much happier with Super Mario Party than I was with the 100 minigame version.
Wait, how many mini games were in it?
100?
How? Oh, really? I wish they indicated that somehow.
I mean, well, that's another thing. Super Mario Party has 80 mini games, so it's like, and they're all new, so.
That's fair enough. Yeah. No, actually, what I kind of interpreted as like the 100s Mario Party 100 or top 100, whatever it's called, was kind of like the send off to all Mario Party of the past, so that they could come with Super Mario Party that was like not a numbered new Mario Party, but it's like this is the new. Thank God they didn't call it new, because it's Nintendo.
So
Super Mario Party. So,
fun fact. The reason that you may not think that both of these games felt polished, they were both made by the same company, Cube. Likely, maybe not the same engine, but I wouldn't imagine that it would take a new engine to play it. But
we got
also,
a super chat.
Oh, do we?
We got a super chat.
Read it off.
The Skillful Swordsman says, "Could we ever see a turn-based Zelda game similar to Final Fantasy?" Totally just interrupting everything we're saying. Sorry, guys. But,
we totally could. Zelda 3 was originally going to be that. Kind of.
This is true. It was supposed to be like a party-based RPG.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Very mage.
But for your party, give us like a group of people like the champions. I've been saying it for months, but that would be so cool. You've got like a great set of classes. You have your healer, your heavy is Daruk, Urbosa's basically a fighter, and then you got Rivali as your archer. That would be a very cool game. I would love the heck out of that.
Yeah!
It would be pretty amazing. And then Link could just be like the best all around.
Yeah, just like your rounded player character.
Yeah.
I love it.
Give us. Someone says, "Oh, Heavy versus Dark Mage Tingle."
Dark Mage.
No,
Tingle would be like reconnaissance because he has the map for the field, so he knows the layout.
Oh yeah,
he can do recon,
and he can balloon up into the sky and
he can drop bombs.
Drop bombs on you.
Yeah. So we actually have the video that we referenced was the top 5 canceled Zelda games, which was the original pitch that Miyamoto had. This was long before Aonuma came in to take over the Zelda series, but Miyamoto originally wanted it to be more like more Final Fantasy-ish, to where you had 3 party members instead of just the 2. But this was also back when it was still kind of for the original NES, and then they were like transitioning it to the Super Nintendo. And it was a very different game it was going to release, but then Dragon Quest was coming out, and they didn't want to put out two big games at the same time because they didn't want to like divide the audience to where like both games would end up making half as much money. So they ended up waiting like 6 months to release Zelda 3, and in that 6 months they kept on changing and tweaking stuff, and then we ended up with A Link to the Past, which was very different than the game that they were originally going to release, which is very interesting. It went from being like a 3-player game to a 1-player game, which is crazy.
But very good still.
Yes.
A Link to the Past be still my heart.
Yeah. So Indie their first game, which is very interesting, was F-Zero for the Game Boy Advance. But more recently, aside from the other Mario Party games that they have, was Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival and Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. So the Amiibo Festival, yeah, the Amiibo Festival connection kind of makes me understand why you say it felt kind of unpolished.
So maybe their strength was more in mobile games because Pocket Camp turned out great.
Turn my phone off.
True, but like the scope of a mobile game already is like smaller typically than what you'd expect from a console release, right?
Yeah.
So
and like I said, like so their partner mode where it's like basically you play with a partner, and so it's like 2v2 basically, and you move freely across the board. That one felt really polished compared to like the rest of the game. Like I feel like they started with that and then they added everything else as an afterthought.
Yeah, I wonder if that was like their initial idea, and then Nintendo's like, "Don't forget, you got to do the other thing too." And they're like, "Oh, okay, we'll just add it real quick," and you know, but that was like what they intended for the game initially on their own.
Yeah.
Possibly. I'm just guessing. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Did for the game initially. Yes. That's.
Shall we move on?
Good.
Yes.
What else we got here?
You can take the next one, Daniel. I feel like it's up your alley.
Which one?
Daniel.
Star Fox.
Starlink.
Starlink. Which is almost. I want to get Starlink. I didn't realize the release date was tomorrow. That snuck up on me, but.
It's like $100.
It's $100?
Yep.
To get the ship with it?
Yep.
Okay.
Why? That's too much.
Because it's kind of like a weird... It has a Toys to Life connection with it. So, kind of like with Skylanders, to get the starter pack, it's more expensive.
Are
you demoing that game too, Kayla? Tubes?
I haven't heard anything about it.
I'd be sick if you got Star Fox.
I don't do my training for another couple of weeks here, so I won't know what games we're demoing until then. And then even then, I can't really say anything.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, yes.
Daniel.
But Starlink is a game that looks really good. I have not played it, but I really want to do that. And my friend Nate from Nintendo Prime told me that he's more excited for Starlink than he is for Smash because it's that heckin' good. No. And I was like, whoa. Because he played both of them at E3. But actually mostly, like, I really want to get it for the Star Fox exclusive content. As weird as that sounds. Because Wolf looks really good in it. And though they've got those kind of like, almost like puppet looking Star Fox Zero designs for the characters, but they got the original voice actors back, I think. If not, they got voice actors that sound really similar, but I think it is the original cast from Star Fox 64 as well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that very, very much. And also, the Toys to Life thing. Obviously, I have something of an interest in that kind of product. So that idea is pretty cool. But no, I really just want to get the Star Fox content. Also, Kayla said that Peppy died and he didn't. So on Twitter.
Well, I mean, he did technically die. I totally forgot he came back. Sorry.
He didn't die. There was a cop out. But it's like, who even knows? Because they like reboot the Star Fox series at like it's freaking Christmas. So it's a new year. It's a new Star Fox. So
yeah.
Yes, they've rebooted the series 3 times, so who even knows what
Star
makes
Fox?
sense? Yeah,
Yeah, because the original 64 Zero.
Yeah, they're all reboots. So
yeah, no reimaginings or remakes.
It's yeah. I guess because Star Fox 64 was like basically a combination of Star Fox 1 and 2 with its gameplay, but Star Fox 2 never saw the light of day until like last year. So we're getting off topic. Yeah, what's the next thingy we're talking about? The words.
Do you want
me to read this thing out? This blurb?
Yeah. If you can.
I can read.
Not rudely. It's just I did a lot of work copying and pasting from the official websites. Okay.
Oh, this is what the official website says?
I was gonna say, like, that first one that I read, I was like, this sounds like I'm reading straight from a Nintendo thing right now.
Yeah.
Is that what this is? Is this from Nintendo? Okay. Well, it says Starlink. Battle for Atlas is an action-adventure game, third-person perspective. That's a really weird sentence. Is an action-adventure game, third-person perspective set in the Atlas star system. The player ventures into different parts of the Atlas system, meets with different alien species, and forms an alliance with them in order to build a crew. Forming these alliances changes the game's world state, which will then change the gameplay experience. In the game, the players can use their spaceships to freely explore the open Atlas system. Split-screen multiplayer mode is also featured in the game. Oh, thank God, because there's not enough of that in the world, in my opinion. Allowing 2 players to explore the space implants together. All ships can take off into space and skim on planet surface. Transition between space and planet surface is described as seamless. Each player has their own landscape, story, hazard, flora, and fauna that may become a threat to the player. The player can also engage in both space and land-based combat with enemies using spaceships. These spaceships can be extensively customized with different parts. Wings, weapons, and spacecraft modules can be freely swapped at will. Players encouraged to experiment with different combinations of weapons as different enemies react differently to attacks. Pilots are also present and have special abilities that can be utilized in combat. For instance, one type of pilot can slow down time itself. There are 4 types of ships and pilots.
Yeah.
That's the gist of it. Also, Luke.
Oh.
Super chatted us.
Luke. Hylian Luke.
Hylian Luke.
He's our favorite Luke.
He's
Thank you, Luke. Here, this is a really gross-looking heart.
Think Zelda will be included on the N64 Classic. Well, I guess that was one of the questions in our mailbag, so I guess I'll just take that out. But deleted.
Luke, our next topic is actually all about Zelda. So if
is it? I should read this Google Doc.
Yeah. So if you can just give us like 2 minutes to get there, we will. But yes.
But man, thanks for the super chat.
Yeah. It's actually why the first thing in the title is Zelda, because there was some misinformation that people were asking me about, and yeah, so I wanted to kind of correct that. But yeah, I think the coolest thing about Starlink Battle for Atlas is, so when you're traditionally, I really hope this is something that carries over to other Star Fox games. Maybe Nintendo can just get Ubisoft to make a Star Fox game, but
sure.
So it says that the traveling between space and a planet surface is seamless. So it's not like starting out in space, going to a planet, having it load, now you're on the planet, and then when you go back out into space, it loads, now you're in space. Like, you can go from planet to planet or whatever without having any load time. Which, imagine playing like an updated version of Star Fox 64, where if you're getting tired of a level and you don't want to finish it to go back to space, you can just turn the R-Wing up and just like fly out of the planet.
Pretty cool. Also, we got another super chat. What's going on?
Everyone's so amazing.
Muted Mike.
Muted Mike. Don't have much money. I'm sorry. No, you do not have to donate. We encourage you to, like, spend your money on yourself. But
yes, thank you.
They really do help.
You're the man.
Yeah, he doesn't even have
Mike,
a question.
Man. He doesn't. So what's your question, Mike?
Yeah,
just tell us right now.
Give us the question. And then in the meantime, the last game is what I'm excited for. I played the Lego Harry Potter games on PC with my little brother because he's now addicted to Harry Potter, which is great because the new Harry Potter movies are coming out, or in the Harry Potter world, Fantastic Beasts. But the newer games, or the new game releasing for the Nintendo Switch, Lego Harry Potter Years 1 through 4 and Lego Harry Potter Years 5 through 7 on PlayStation 4 for the first time, and will also be coming to the Nintendo Switch. Top-selling video games remastered on one disc, or in this case, a cartridge. Discover and unlock all of your favorite characters from the across. There's a few typos in some of these, and these aren't my fault. I feel nice when it's not my typo. It's the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, while taking an interactive journey through iconic locations from the beloved books and films. Full of spellcasting, potion-making, puzzle-solving, lessons, dueling, and much more for players of all ages to enjoy with friends and family using easy drop-in, drop-out cooperative play. A perfect gift for fans eagerly anticipating the upcoming film Fantastic Beasts and where to find them. That's an old description. It's almost like they just reused it from when the PS4 came out. But yes, the Nintendo Switch version I'm really looking forward to. And I think multiplayer in games should take note from what the Lego games do, to where you can literally pick up a controller and play as a character.
Yeah. Just like turn it on, it's like boom, you're in. Yeah.
Exactly. It's almost like Kirby on Super Nintendo. To where like someone can pick up a controller and like you can just like down B or whatever it was, and then like he'll poop out a second player.
Though Kirby Star Allies did good with that too. You can basically drop in and play and then just drop out really quick as well.
Yeah, and you can play up to 4 players, which is really nice too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that is really a good way to go for a game of that scope. Yeah, it's good. For couch co-op, that kind of thing, yeah. Also, Mike said he did not have a question.
Oh.
Just wanted to be a nice person.
All right.
And then he asked a question. He said, do you think Nintendo is making another 2D Zelda soon?
Yeah.
I would love that if they do.
So,
but I feel like we're a little bit overdue for a 2D Zelda game. It's coming.
One thing to remember is Nintendo getting all of the third parties that they let work on Zelda games like Tantalus or Grezzo out of the way. Nintendo always has 2 teams working on Zelda games. They have their home console and their handheld team. Sometimes they work together. I think they work together on Breath of the Wild. But like A Link Between Worlds was the last official handheld Nintendo game, and then Grezzo
what about Triforce Heroes?
Yeah, well, Grezzo took most of Triforce Heroes.
Oh, okay.
I think it was more of a collaboration. But yes, so if there are any games coming out this month or next month that you guys are excited about, comment them below, and maybe we'll join in and discuss them with you, or maybe we can bring them up on the next podcast. You okay, Tubes? You looked like you got super excited for a second.
I looked over and I saw that I'm a mod now on Cameron's account, and I just thought that was really funny.
Yeah. Well, like I had to make. He's part of the family, right?
Yeah, I mean he'll probably never notice. So.
He's just like, hey, I'm a mod. No, that's not what he sounds like. Okay, so yeah, Ura Zelda, right? That's what we're getting out of the way for.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. New intro, guys. What time is it?
Throw it down,
It's
Jesse.
12,
34 minutes. No,
that one.
Just 30, because, words.
Words are hard.
Just remind me of that later, 34 minutes, because that's the time. Okay, everyone ready?
Okay.
Yeah?
What if I just
I
put
like
it
your
on
shirt,
the...
by the way, Tubes.
Oh, thanks.
Daniel has a
It's
cool
Cameron's
shirt, too.
This is, I think this is the Saskatchewan airport.
Oh?
What? Why? Do you have
My
that
boyfriend's from
as a shirt?
Saskatchewan.
Why? There's nothing to do there.
That's why he came to America.
That's why. You mean?
I mean,
America.
To Vancouver. We're not in America, Jesse. Unless you mean North America, which Saskatchewan is already
that is
a part
totally
of.
what I meant.
But I don't blame him for moving away from there
To the Americas.
Saskatchewan is a province of Canada, and it's the second most boring province of Canada.
Wait, so it's in
We always-
Canada already, and then
We always joke
He just
that
moved
it's
from
like
one place to the other.
we joke that it's a
Thinking,
super
like,
flat
Europe.
land, and that if his dog runs away, he can watch his dog run away for like 2 days straight because it's so
Yeah.
flat there.
It's just all flats, and like we're in
Muted
BC,
Mike
so
donated
it's
$1.
Mike. You're so nice.
Thank you.
Change your name to Nice Guy Mike.
I can't
'Cause-
do the heart as good as Tubes did.
Oh, mine looked like a pumpkin.
Mine's pretty bad.
We
Mine
can
is
do
terrible.
A double heart, maybe.
What
Is
if
that
I
a
put
thing?
mine right to the edge of of the screen, and then someone else?
It have to be
There's
Tubes.
the
Tubes. Can you put yours
I-
to the edge?
Just do
Is
it.
he on this side of me?
Other side.
Yeah. Keep
This side of me.
Yeah,
Wait, depends.
That's
Who's-
right. Put it
Are we
closer.
really doing this
closer
right
to
now?
the edge.
Do it. Do it. Yay!
Yeah, okay.
But on mine.
Ura Zelda.
Yeah. Okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast. Today we're going to be giving some corrections to some misinformation for Ura Zelda and the potentially upcoming, it's rumored, Nintendo 64 Mini. So, and this is just Ura Zelda in general, to let some people know how it happened. So, we had some videos talking about this before. One of my favorites was actually with Tony from Hard for Games, who I was on their podcast last night. They do a lot of 64 disk drive videos and beta questing and stuff, and just a lot of really cool videos on canceled games, giving information that wasn't already out there before. They're all the time finding or being sent actual beta or development carts for different Nintendo 64 games that has like never before seen or never before known information or games. So it's just a bunch of really cool stuff. And we had him on one time, and we were talking about this. What was it, Daniel? It was from Nintendo in like 1996 or 97.
Some like old screenshots.
Yeah, before Ocarina of Time was delayed until 1998, when it was still referred to as Zelda 64.
Yeah, it was like this old magazine. It had like a description of the story, which was, I guess, an older draft of the story because there was no.
Different.
Yeah, it was like similar. Like it was a
Yeah.
coming of age thing, and he got a fairy and stuff like that. But it was.
But it was
Very
implied
different.
to me, it was implied that you began the game as an adult.
Yes, that's totally what it sounded like. I think it did describe you as like a young adult or something like that. But
Anyways,
Yeah.
so Ura Zelda, whenever they were coming up with the idea, originally it was going to be Zelda 64, and it was just going to be for the Nintendo 64 disk drive. Oh, we got another donation, 50K.
bootleg boy.
Yeah, so SEK. I think that's around 5
SEK.
US. Yeah. So thank you, bootleg boy. Thank you so much.
Wait,
Hello
which
to you.
currency is SEK?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but we did this last time too. I think it was like
Yeah.
$3.
Because we
It's much appreciate dollars.
Because I went crazy thinking, why would he donate that much? And it turns out it was an actual normal amount. So,
Swedish krones. Thank you, RPG.
Yes, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So, Ura Zelda. I keep getting off topic, I'm sorry. So it began as Zelda 64 when it was just for the Nintendo 64 disk drive. And then Nintendo wanted to, because they weren't sure if it was going to be successful, and they made it Ocarina of Time with the Ura expansion. So they separated it from just being on the disk drive to being a cartridge game with a disk drive expansion. And that was when it was turned into Ocarina of Time and the Ura expansion. And then when they canceled the expansion, there was going to be a lot of stuff that was left in Ocarina of Time that would have just been cliffhangers. One example is the Running Man, how you cannot beat him in the original, but supposedly you would have been able to beat him in the Ura expansion. A lot of people, because there were interviews from Miyamoto where he was just trying to get angry fans quiet, said that Master Quest was the planned Ura expansion, but that's not true, because prior interviews with Miyamoto, yes, and Aonuma suggested that the Ura expansion was going to add in new dungeons, new areas, new weapons, new tunics, new NPCs, new side quests, and everything, whereas the Master Quest only remixes the dungeons. It adds absolutely nothing new. It changes no quests. It doesn't add in any quests, doesn't add in items, doesn't add in new dungeons, doesn't add in new locations or new villages. All it does is remix the dungeons that are already there, which is great for like a second quest type of thing. And they released that on the Gamecube for like a bonus with Wind Waker. But the actual Ura expansion was something that was completely different. It was going to add in a few more dungeons and everything. And some people think that if there is a new Nintendo 64 classic that, just as with Star Fox 2, Nintendo could release the DLC as it was, or...
Okay, bye, Kayla.
Yeah.
She's gone.
The expansion for Ocarina of Time, so that we could get the complete Ocarina of Time experience. However, when the Ura expansion was canceled, they likely took as much as they could from the Ura expansion and put it in Ocarina of Time to make it as complete of a game as possible. That way it didn't end with a big cliffhanger, or there were side quests that were only halfway able to be completed. One thing that did carry over was, and then this was a big focus of Majora's Mask, which is Ura Zelda was apparently supposed to have a big focus on giving you masks and abilities, which we kind of see in Ocarina of Time. The masks themselves doesn't give the player any abilities, but if you have the bunny hood, which we know in Majora's Mask makes you run faster, when you give it to the Running Man, who's running around Hyrule Field as a child, he puts it on and he can run faster, but Link can't. So that was something that was maybe supposed to carry over from the Ura expansion. And then supposedly you, as Link, would put on the Ura... when you had the Ura expansion, you would put on the bunny hood. And donating just for the cute cat. Thank you, Bootleg Boy, for 20 SCKs.
You guys are off the hook.
Yeah, there's a lot of expansions. A lot of donations today.
Expansions?
Yeah.
You guys missed me. I was sick one week, and then we didn't do it last week.
Yeah.
No, we were podcastless.
Yeah, did you get a bunch of great Snapchats with the cat, Daniel?
Yes, they
were
very
fabulous.
amusing. And now I've been fiddling with this twisty tie all day because Kayla sent us snaps of the cat playing with the twisty tie, and now I've just been fiddling with it.
Yeah. So yeah, back to the Ura expansion. So, like, the base game of Ocarina of Time was different when they had the Ura expansion. And because they had to go in after it was canceled, because it wasn't released and then the Ura expansion was canceled. It was canceled first, and then they tried to make it as complete of a game as possible, which meant like changing the story up to make it feel as much like a complete game as possible, which is why there's still some of the leftover stuff from the Ura expansion that people can find in the base game. But for them, like, if they can't just release the expansion as it was and have it connect and completely work with Ocarina of Time, they would have to get like a pre-release version of Ocarina of Time before they had canceled the Ura expansion, and then release that as its own thing. So you would have Ocarina of Time as it is now with like the changes to make it a complete game, and then they would have to have a completely second version of Ocarina of Time with the Ura expansion. Because they had gone back and changed some of the story and everything to make it as complete as possible. So again, it doesn't end with presumably some sort of cliffhanger or have mentions to areas or weapons that you don't have access to because of the expansion. Because it would make sense if the actual game released and then it mentioned like, hey, there's this new area over here, and then once you get the expansion, it unlocks how to actually get to that area. But
yeah,
there's a lot of it's really confusing. And again, you can go, we have some videos talking about when it was just Zelda 64, and that comes from Nintendo themselves, not someone talking about it, which is, well, we're talking about it, but it's coming from Nintendo's own words on like what the story was before it became Ocarina of Time on just the cartridge alone, when it was still planned for the disc drive, which is what we were talking about when it was just like the game starting you off as Adult Link or whatever. So there's a lot of really cool stuff, because it talks about like you don't get the fairy because the Deku Tree is since
the cat is chewing on my cord. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so in the changed version of Ocarina of Time that we got, Link is given the fairy because the Deku Tree's dying, and you need the fairy to go outside of the Kokiri Forest into the Lost Woods, and the fairy helps you on your adventure to Hyrule Castle and everything, and helps you throughout the entire game. That's the changed version that we got with Ocarina of Time. The original version was you're basically already starting as an adult, or at least that's what it implies, and once you become a certain age, you are given a fairy in Kokiri Forest, which also implies the Kokiri originally weren't all like permanently children. They actually aged because they would receive a fairy once they became a certain age. So after the 64 disc drive failed and they completely changed the game around, the story itself for Ocarina of Time is completely different than what it would have been with the Ura expansion before they changed it, which is a lot of people think that, oh, they should release the Ura expansion as like DLC for Ocarina of Time 3D, or they should release the Ura expansion for Ocarina of Time when it releases on the Nintendo 64 mini classic system, like they did with Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2, it was basically almost a complete game already. They didn't really have to change much, and then they just released it as is. Like, ROMs already existed of like an 80% completed game, so they could just put that on there. With Ocarina of Time and the Ura Zelda, the Ura expansion wouldn't work with the Ocarina of Time game that we have now. You would need like a beta version before they started changing it to make it just fit on the cartridge, which I've said a lot, but I wanted to get that point across, because like if someone was sent an Ura expansion file, it might work with an Ocarina of Time ROM if you loaded it up on like an emulator, but there's so much change to Ocarina of Time that it wouldn't, like, there would be a lot of bugs and stuff because like too much was changed for it to work the way that it was meant to. So you would need like the version of Ocarina of Time or Zelda 64 that existed a year before the game actually launched, if that makes sense.
Jesse, I
Yes.
found it. the article and the screenshots.
Yeah.
That while you were going there, I was just digging through some old threads of ours with Tony and stuff, and I found it. So,
would you like to read over it?
Yeah, what the story.
Yeah.
Which shows a screenshot of Adult Link.
Yeah. So just read over that, and then that's how we will end this.
Okay. But the story goes, prepare to journey once again to Hyrule, land of the ancestors of the gods, in Zelda 64.
Yeah, so again,
Zelda 64.
Really quick, interrupting Daniel. This is from Nintendo on their own website.
Yes.
This isn't information given from like a secondary source. Nintendo themselves gave this for marketing material.
I love this. Their estimated release date early 1998 US. It's like, oh my god, this is like a snapshot back in time. It's beautiful. It says, as Zelda 64 gets closer to release this winter in Japan, additional details about the game's setting and storyline are being revealed by the game's developers. Even though Zelda 64's story is set in the misty past, players will once again take on the mantle of the young hero Link. What it means in the misty past is that they had already said this was going to be a prequel to all the existing Zelda games, like Zelda 1, 2, A Link to the Past, and Link's Awakening. As the story begins... Oh, sorry?
I was just going to say, for some of the people that like saying that Nintendo never had a timeline in place with any of the games, the first game came, and then the second game came, which was a direct sequel to the first game. A Link to the Past was named that because it took place in the past before the first two games, and then
they were very open about that.
And the fourth game, Ocarina of Time, or Zelda 64, they made it to take place even before that. So from the very beginning, Nintendo did have the idea of a timeline in mind. So when people say they just made the games and put them out there, that's completely wrong. From the very beginning, they always had a timeline in mind. It only got convoluted when North America was like, hey, Wind Waker sucks, why does it look like a cartoon? And then they made a completely opposite game that takes place around the same time. And then
Wind Waker already contradicts it, because if A Link to the Past was intended, like, they made Ocarina of Time as an intended prequel for A Link to the Past, and then Wind Waker comes in and contradicts it as the sequel to Ocarina of Time. Like, it already kind of... That's where things started to get shaky. But, I digress. Continuing, though, it says... as the story begins, Link is preparing for his coming-of-age ceremony in which he will receive his guardian spirit. In the tradition of his people, children receive a fairy from the fairy tree when they reach adulthood. This fairy becomes a person's lifelong familiar.
Right there, really quick. I wanted to emphasize that when they reach adulthood, they get the fairy. And the game starts with you getting the fairy, which implies you would be starting the game as an adult, not...
Yes. And there's screenshots of adult Link fighting Queen Goma as well, which is interesting. But yes, the fairy accompanies the youthful adventurer seeking his or her fortune in the maze-like forest or in the lands beyond. Link's ceremony, however, is not destined to be a happy one. The fairy tree, source of guardian spirits, is captured by a strange creature from the depths of the forest. Wait, the whole tree is captured. Okay. Link is able to locate his guardian spirit, Navi, with her help, slay the creature. However, in the process, the fairy tree is grievously damaged. As its life force ebbs, the fairy tree speaks the words that will shape Link's destiny. So already we're seeing, like, there is similarities to Ocarina of Time, but it's still different. Like, but there is overlap. Obviously, the fairy tree is the great Deku tree, and etc. So he says, do not allow the thief Ganondorf, which is actually spelled wrong in this, to claim the Triforce. The tree mystically communicates, "O brave one, you must take this sacred stone to a wise man." Ganondorf was infamous throughout the land for his evil practices as the king of thieves. He lusted for the power of the Triforce and searched throughout Hyrule for its resting place, most recently plunging into the forest of Link's people. Link knew he was in grave danger should Ganondorf find him. He took the sacred stone from the fairy tree and set out to Hyrule Castle, the capital of the Hyrulean people. Upon entering the castle, Link is welcomed by the young Princess Zelda, a woman of the Hyrulean royal family about the same age as he. She is well aware of the crisis facing the lands of Hyrule. Zelda relates further details about the Triforce's hiding place, telling Link that he needs to find the 3 sacred stones that fit into a magical ocarina, which serves as the key to a hidden realm. So that's interesting, is that they're not just used at the pedestal to open the door of time, like they're little stones that go inside the instrument itself.
There's also screenshots where it shows the ocarina with the different colored stones in it.
Yes. Link's race with the evil Ganondorf to find the sacred stones and the hiding place of the Triforce is on. Zelda 64 tells the story of an earlier age of Hyrule when Ganon was merely known as the King of Thieves and not the powerful creature of evil he becomes in the other Legend of Zelda adventures. In this role-playing game, the story unfolds in a realistic 3D world. The depths of the backgrounds, the dramatic camera angles, and the realistic objects and animations all combine to create one of the most immersive gaming experiences ever. Although the gameplay has been designed so that anyone can enjoy it, the adventure will not be without its challenges. Great battles will reward the courageous. The fairy Navi will accompany you on your journey, providing hints, warning you of enemy attacks, and helping you to search for the items. While North America release date has not been announced, the game is targeted to be released in Japan by the end of 1997. Zelda 64 will be a 256 megabit cartridge. That's another thing that Tony actually, I've seen in his videos, where people mix up megabyte and megabit.
Yeah. But
it is megabit. So
yeah, bits are smaller than bytes.
Yes, this is a small game.
But the 256, I think megabits come out to about 32 megabytes, I believe.
Yeah. So that's very similar, but very different at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
And
so that was the story for Zelda 64. When the Ura expansion was still being planned for it, but after they canceled the Ura expansion, that's when all of the changes happened, and instead of starting the game as an adult and getting a fairy because he became an adult, along with all of the other presumably adult Kokiri, now you get it as a child. And all of the Kokiri, instead of getting a fairy when they become of age, now they're just all permanently children. So very interesting.
Someone in the chat, Ishmael says, "No spoilers, please. This game came. This game came out in 1998."
Oh wait, I think he's talking about Breath of the Wild right now.
And
okay.
The spoilers we are giving are for Ura Zelda, not Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, but I posted a link. There's in the chat on YouTube. There's some screenshots from Zelda 64. So I love some of these captions with these screenshots. So Link will be a fully 3-dimensional character with high levels of details. You can even see that his ear is pierced. It's just like, oh, it's so quaint. It's like, for the time, this was huge, but it's like in hindsight, it's like, oh, so cute. Like,
all right,
video games of the day.
Are we ready for the next one?
Yes.
Right, to move on through. All right, so
let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, playable. Do you want to take this one, D-Man? Playable phone case, patent.
The man.
Now
yes, I'm just pulling up the old linky thing.
When you're giving this story, bring up how a lot of people thought that the multiple screen patent with the banana that we've seen wasn't going to turn out to be anything, and then like a month later it turned out to be something. So this patent could be something that they like show off at the Game Awards or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Because I would definitely buy it. Like if I can just have a phone case that turns my phone into a Game Boy.
Yes, that would be neat. Although those third-party ones kind of exist, but yeah, we'll jump in here. This article comes from Polygon. Nintendo patented the playable Game Boy phone case. So this is neat because it's actually Nintendo doing it, which means you know it'll be good. But I have seen third-party like ones that basically are emulators that plug into your phone and kind of hug it as a controller, but they don't look very good in my opinion.
Rude.
But sorry, friends. Back in 2017, Nintendo filed a patent that hinted at the Game Boy receiving the NES and SNES Classic Edition treatment. United States Patent and Trademark Office has finally published the applications for what looks exactly like a Game Boy phone case, but with fully operational buttons. Nintendo's patent filing describes a cover that is removably attachable to electronic equipment having a touchscreen. In layman's terms, it's a phone case.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that this Game Boy S design doesn't just wrap around a smartphone to protect it from inevitable drops. Nintendo's patent suggests a design that covers the front of a phone, so essentially turning your phone screen into the Game Boy screen.
Yes.
That's
really cool.
The case would basically turn your phone into an actual Game Boy of sorts. Pressing a button on the cover results in contact with the touch panel beneath it, which is then translated into an action on the screen. Not included is the patent. In the patent is what sort of apps or games this cover is meant to be used with, leaving its functionality up to speculation. Nintendo never uses the words Game Boy or even game in the patent application. Third-party cases already do a similar thing, but they lack an important element: the power of Nintendo behind them. Our sister site, The Verge's Circuit Breaker section, wrote about one case in particular by Wanley, for which reviews suggest that the experience isn't as good as promised. Is Nintendo working on a mobile virtual console of Game Boy games? Are classics like Pokemon Red, but not Pokemon Blue apparently, Link's Awakening and Super Mario Land bound for iOS and Android? Temper expectations. It's unclear whether this patent will go anywhere or if a product would reflect this design. This could be a preview of the Game Boy Classic Edition, or it could just as well go the way of Nintendo's never released Vitality sensor. That's the article, folks. Podcast over. Done.
Good job, Daniel. 10 out of 10.
But yes, I guess I'll jump in. My thoughts. I want that. I still have I want that.
Daniel,
I have seen third-party ones, and I have always been kind of like, about it. And this is 100% my own fanboyism and biases shining through. But if Nintendo makes an official one and it works really well, I will want it. Until then, I'm kind of disinterested in the other third-party ones. But
yeah.
Yes. Who else has a words to say?
Yeah. So with it being a patent, there are a lot of patents that they show off that never come to be anything. But the last time that we talked about a patent was with the multiple screen scenario with the Nintendo Switch.
The bananas.
They had bananas as an example on it. And they ended up using it for the game that just released earlier this month, Mario Party, where you can put multiple switches close to each other and it like makes some weird abstract layout. So theoretically, if this comes to be just as that patent did, then it could be something cool. I wonder if this is, instead of having someone care, because they mentioned the reason they put voice chat on your phone instead of the actual Nintendo Switch, well, at least their excuse is everyone already has their phone with them. And if you have your Switch with you and your cell phone, and then you also chug around a headset, it's going to be a little bit more difficult than if you could just use your phone, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, because it's like if you plug headphones into your phone, you could just plug headphones into your thing, but maybe they just think that you could use speaker on your phone. And then
and in the Switch Online like promo, it does show them having it just like, well, it shows the phone levitating in the air while they're talking on it, so that's not really a good example. But...
So it makes me wonder if Nintendo maybe doesn't want to compete with themselves, to where it's like, okay, if you're carrying your phone and your Nintendo Switch and the Game Boy Classic, wouldn't it be easier if the Game Boy Classic was just a case that you could buy to put on your phone? That way...
The only gripe is that different phones are different sizes.
That is true.
Yeah, they have to make sure that they come out with a bunch of different sizes for different phones.
Yeah, either that or adjustable somehow. But that's the problem. Like, I know that I've had phone cases. I got a phone that doesn't I can't move my old Android case over to my new iPhone, for example. And no.
Okay.
I'm just saying this is a big oversight for if they only do it like that. They would have to either produce a limited quantity of certain types, or like release it just for whatever's the most popular phone, and everyone else is screwed, or make it in a way that it's somehow adjustable. Like you can, like maybe it's got like telescopic parts that can pull apart and then like blows around the thing. That's the only way around it I can see. It could also be just them fighting third parties by patenting it, and then if someone else tries to, like, you're infringing on our patent, buddy, you can't. DNCA take down the Nintendo classic power move.
They recently did take down all of the Game Boy ROM sites, the Game Boy Advanced ROM sites.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's all connected.
So it could be
like
them gearing up,
Nintendo has
though.
been tackling a lot of different ROM sites lately.
But if they're planning on releasing like their own ROMs available for iOS, then that makes sense, because what was the last thing they took down? Like the huge big thing that got a lot of publicity they took down was AM2R, or another Metroid 2 remake. And then it turned out they took it down because they were actually doing their own Metroid 2 remake. It just kind of is crappy that they waited till like literally the release date of AM2R to do it. But it would make sense, and you know, Nintendo's always a wild card. It's really hard to predict what the heck they're doing with hardware, especially. So, yep, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. On Android, I don't think you can do it on iPhone, but there's a lot of janky games that you can download on the iTunes Store that are complete Mario ripoffs already. But with the like, I have friends that have Android phones, and within 5 minutes, they're able to go in, download an emulator, download ROMs, and play them just from their phone without even using a computer. Like, they can do it all from their phone. So it makes sense that if Nintendo is releasing this case that allows you to play the games on your phone, that they would get rid of these sites that allow people to do that, to where if you're looking at all of these games like, oh, I want these 5 games, but they're $5 to $10 each, and suddenly you're paying $20 to $50 for like Pokemon Silver and Minish Cap and whatever other games there are. So instead of paying $50, they're like, oh, well, I can just download the games for free on my phone and save $50. So it makes sense that they would go after those websites. That way there is less competition for whenever they do put the games out, if they do make them available for people to buy on their phone, because I don't think they would have any competition with the iPhones, because I don't think that you can like download the emulators and stuff, but I'm not really sure. I haven't checked in on that. But
I know that iPhone is a little bit more strict when it comes to torrenting stuff and putting illegal stuff, or
yeah, it's harder to get your stuff on App Store than it
Yeah.
is on like Google Play, or as far as I know. I have a buddy who like does mobile games and stuff. So I say buddy, I haven't talked to him in like 7 years, but I see his Facebook posts. So,
Well, that's my thoughts. What about you, Tubes? You're the one that part-time works for Nintendo.
But I mean, it's me. Like,
It's like it's just...
I can honestly say that I have played Ocarina of Time on my phone. I'm not a very good person.
yeah, didn't you like hack your 3DS as well?
Well, we don't talk about that one either.
Well, oh, whoopsie, oopsie. Wait, is that the one Nintendo?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't touch anything that Nintendo provides to me.
Like, that would be bad.
I just take this part out of the edited version.
Sure, sounds good. Let's not risk Chublima's livelihood.
Yeah, wow. Anyways, I think that this is a super good idea, and like I love what Nintendo's doing. I love everything that Nintendo thinks about. And they're always like 5. What is wrong with you, Jesse? What are you laughing about?
You just like went through talking about hacking Nintendo, and then you're just like, okay, I love Nintendo. I love everything Nintendo does. They're 5 steps
ahead. Can we move to the next topic?
Oh my goodness, what a gong show.
Alright,
Fantastic.
start over.
Welcome
Tubes.
to the podcast, everybody.
Tubes.
You said start over.
Tubes, what are your thoughts on all of this Nintendo stuff?
I think, you know what? I
Yeah,
hope
good.
that they do
Thanks.
this. I hope that this is a real patent, and I would love to play some Game Boy games. Game Boy's games that I would look forward to would be like Harvest Moon, Pokemon Yellow, because that one's my favorite, because I am a sucker for Pikachu, and Warlocked. Those are like my top 3 Game Boy games. Yeah.
It would be cool if they did a line of these though. Like this was, if they did like a line that did Game Boy Advance as well, then maybe like, I don't know how they could do DS ones, but like then this, all I keep thinking is this is my chance to actually get into the Advanced Wars series, which I've heard is really good. But
Yeah.
just saying. But that's if they do continue the lineup, if they do release the thing that they've potentially patented here. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of what ifs in this scenario. Don't listen
A lot
to me.
of what ifs. But the other big thing is like I hope that this is a way for like younger generations to get into playing older generation games.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's another cool thing about it, because I personally I have my Game Boy still. Like
Me too.
yeah, like I don't need to play them on my phone. I just actually the bright side about playing them on your phone is that you'd have a backlight so you can play it whenever.
And it would be
But
higher
yes,
resolution.
also true.
Yeah, that's true. That
You
is
don't have to
very
turn
true.
the dial to change the contrast.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that's like the super old Game Boy. I have the Game Boy Color. Oh my gosh.
I've got that too. But well, actually, technically, those are both my wife's, but still, we have them. They exist in this household of mine. So,
Yeah, so
Yes.
I guess we can move to the next thing, and then it's on to the Zelda Mailbag. So again, everyone,
Woo!
join the Discord. The link is in the chat. I've posted it a few times. It's in the description. You can join the Discord.
yes.
You can go to the Zelda
Join.
Mailbag on our Discord. Put your questions. We will answer as many as we can, which will probably be like 6. So the next chat, everyone ready?
Everybody
Yeah.
ready?
All right, we're gonna be
Yeah,
giving
yeah.
2 things, taking turns. So, Tubes, Daniel, me, Tubes, Daniel, me. And we will talk about things that we want for a potential Nintendo Switch 2.0, whether it's the new Switch, Switch XL, whatever it's called. Okay, guys ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone,
Let's do
and
this.
hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hylian Gamescast, episode 56 or 7 or whatever. I don't know. It's been a while. So, we're talking about the Nintendo Switch 2.0, the Nintendo Switch XL, new Nintendo Switch Mini, whatever it may be called. We're each going to be
a lot of
list
names.
the Nintendo Switch U.
The new Super
Yeah, so
Nintendo Switch.
The
We are going
new
to-
Super Nintendo Switch 2.0 Deluxe.
yeah,
XL.
SP. So we're going to be giving 2 things that we each would like to see changed about the Nintendo Switch for an upgrade, whether it's screen size, higher installed memory, higher resolution, more power, larger battery, weird Joy-Con upgrades, who knows. But we're going to be talking about it, and we're going to be giving 2 things each. Whether or not this happens, there's rumors, who knows, but we're going to be talking about it, starting with Chablima.
Oh, starting with me. I was making
Yeah.
a fish face. The one that comes to mind right away for me, like I know I have a really big micro SD in my console already, but I would love it if like the actual console had all of that memory, because it would make my life a lot easier, because I actually only own 2 physical copies of any of the games that I have on my Switch, and I have like 30, so you can see where I have a problem.
No, that's legit, because when I saw this thing on Twitter that was like saying when apparently Starlink is gonna have a 6 gigabyte update right off the bat, and I was like, 6 gigabytes, and if the Switch had more hard drive space, then
Yeah,
that wouldn't be an issue. But I know, like, with my, and this was the same problem the Wii U had. Like, I was downloading games and stuff, and then it just like capped out, and I was like, well, yes, I'm done buying Wii U games. so.
Well, it's like I have 120 gigs. I don't know if I can get a micro SD much bigger than that actually functions nicely.
That's affordable.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, my phone shouldn't have more hard drive space than a game console.
Yeah, that's true. Again, I feel like this is a me problem though, because I should really just stop buying my games digitally.
Well, Nintendo also gives you games.
Don't they give you the games digitally?
Yeah, they do. But then to that, if I run out of space, they just tell me to archive it.
Thanks, Nintendo. But like for me, I'm that's part of why I'm so big on. Two reasons I'm super big on having my games physically. One is I like to like have them all there.
You like to touch them.
You know, I like to touch them and
you
not
like
taste them, but
no.
But also the hard drive space, like no. I digitally bought like back on the Wii U like Yoshi's Woolly World, and it was great, but then I also kind of regret it because I never get to have that case, and I also like
it's a good case.
If something it's a good game case, but like if something happens to my Wii U, for example, I'll have to buy that game again because Nintendo doesn't they do the Nintendo thing, and then yeah, like it's bad, guys. So and then yeah, it ate up so much of my space because it's a pretty hefty game for a Wii U game. So
I can also say 100% that the first physical game I bought, Harvest Moon, I took it out of the case and licked it. It was the first thing I did. And then Daniel got mad at me. He was like, "Don't lick your games!"
Don't lick your games, guys. I don't know why that was such a big thing.
That's why I had to lick it, because I remember when it first came out, everyone was like, "Oh, it has this gross taste on it."
It probably tastes gross because you're not supposed to eat it. It's a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
when people talk about consuming content, that's not like what they mean. How many video games have you licked?
Alright, so Daniel, what is one improvement that you would add?
I love the Switch too much. I don't know what I would change.
I was gonna say, I feel like we've had this conversation like 3 weeks ago.
I think maybe.
Well, I think we talked about the news story, but we didn't necessarily go through and each of us say like definitively like one or two things that we would change.
Because Kayla pretty much covered what mine would be.
Yeah.
Maybe better speakers. The speakers aren't fantastic. But everything else is like not a hardware problem in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot of the other stuff, my other gripes are like Nintendo, it's just your online voice chat, but that kind of thing. So, Kool-Aid Lavis said in the chat, we need D-pads. Not really. I mean, if you have a D-pad on the Joy-Con, then you can't detach it and use it as a mini Joy-Con controller very, very well. And I don't know. Oh, you know what? This Rabbit23 GSO says in the chat also, I want music or YouTube.
Netflix, please.
Netflix, please. But again, that's a software thing, not a hardware thing, right? I guess... I don't know, guys. This is a hard one. But with the D-pad, there is actually a third-party Joy-Con you can get that has a D-pad, by the way. The only downside to it is that it can only be played in handheld mode, so which is a little silly. Gosh, I can't come up with my own answer. I'm just gonna second Chublima's answer, but more hard drive space.
All right.
That's the big thing for me.
Mine, my first thing will be not necessarily with the Switch console, but if they do have the Switch Pro, I would like a Pro or new, whatever, gamepad that has a headphone jack. That way you can play on the TV, have a headphone jack and a controller, and silently play with headphones on the TV without having to use some sort of Bluetooth.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's
Wait,
no
do the Pro controllers not have headphone jacks?
No.
They do not.
Like if you
Oh my
have
gosh.
PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, you can just plug into the controller and you can have like headphone, microphone, everything, but you can't on Switch.
Pretty
The
sure
controller
even
No,
doesn't
that's
have
actually a
Xbox-
really good thought. Especially
Yeah.
because the one that I think of right away is Fortnite, because you need to have your headphones in for that game. And so when we were demoing it during the summer season, like we had kids that either didn't have headphones on or they plugged theirs physically into the console and they're standing like right up to the TV because they needed to hear. And then even me, like if I want to play Fortnite like at home on the TV instead of in handheld, like sucks to suck. How am I going to talk to people without using the Nintendo app?
But it's
And
weird
then-
because but Fortnite's voice chat is not on the app. It's like in the actual game, isn't it? On Switch?
Yes.
Yeah. So. Oh well,
But
it's weird.
Yeah.
I used Discord for that anyways, so small
Alright.
potatoes.
Tubes, do you have another thing? A second upgrade?
Oh, I'm just while you're thinking in the chat. Tara Banford says they would like a lighting, like an adjustable lighting setting on there. You can change the screen brightness though. You can adjust
Yeah,
that.
that's what I use
in
for
the
it.
settings.
I think it's just, you can tap the home button like twice and it brings it up.
It's in settings as well, and I know what you mean though. Like I have, I think, pretty sensitive eyes, so people always gripe. Like I turn my screens down to low of a brightness and they can't see it. Used to get that at work all the time when I worked at the coffee house with Shublima. Actually, is that I would like crank the tills lighting down to like the 0, and people
I
would be
recall a moment like that where Daniel tried to show me something and I was like, "What are you showing me? I can't see this."
I would just crank them all the way down, and then people would be like, "Oh, Daniel," and they'd be like pounding it back up, and I'm like, I can't look at it. It's making my eyes water.
Oh my gosh.
It's too bright. But yes, you can change that in the settings. By the way,
I think they even have like an automatic setting, maybe.
they do. I hate it. I don't like the auto adjusting because it's like, I guess it doesn't very accurately determine what's too bright for me, right? So suddenly
and
it'll get
also
like super
sometimes
dim, and
it'll
I'm
be in
like,
an area. Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so the only one that I can think of that I think we mentioned last time we spoke about this is fixing the kickstand, because I worry every time I pop that out, for whatever reason, that I'm just gonna snap it off. And I know people that have actually just snapped it off and had to pop
Mine
it
came
back
off.
on. So
Mine came off. I had to
Oh.
reattach it. My kid
yeah, there
pulled
you
it
go.
off.
Daniel was the person I knew.
My wee child pulled it off, and I was like, ah! But it snapped back on. Like he didn't break the plastic, but
Yeah. But still, it's like really flimsy for something that's supposed
Mhm.
to hold your console up when you're in tabletop mode.
yeah.
Like, guys, that is like a $5 piece of plastic to hold up my $400 console.
Yep.
Hello.
So pretty much I never play in tabletop mode. I just have 2 Switch docks.
Well, traveling.
True. I guess that. Oh, we did play it at the airport in tabletop mode, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Touche. No, I'm gonna bring my Switch dock to the airport, plug it into one of the reader boards, one of the airport TVs. Just plug the dock in. Staff are to come around there and be like, "What are you doing? Security's."
On the TV, please leave.
I'm like, "No, this is more important than your freaking airplane schedules."
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Rabbit. I think that if there was a camera on the Nintendo Switch, I'd feel really uncomfortable. I already feel uncomfortable enough having a camera on my laptop. Like, I put
It's on the-
stickers on that.
Wii U
Yeah,
gamepad,
we don't need
and it,
Miyamoto
like,
watching us.
it's not used
Yeah.
at all on the Wii U gamepad.
Yeah.
And it's got very limited use on the 3DS. I think the Wii U gamepad was supposed to have video chat, though. That's why it had it, and then they pretty much did nothing with that.
That's creepy, too.
Yes, it is.
A video chat.
The
with
prob-
one
the
person
problem-
on the Wii U.
The the problem with having video chat on the Wii U is that you need to have friends who also have a Wii U.
Yeah.
I don't have my Wii U. I got rid of it.
It's okay. I have 2 if you want one.
All right. So Daniel,
Nice.
do you have your final thing for the Switch?
Nah, I got nothing. I'm sorry.
I will
I'm
say,
terribly sorry. You guys all brought up good points.
They don't need to make the Switch bigger, but if they made the screen bigger and like took up less space with the bezels, I would really like that.
If they make the screen any bigger, then they should go up to 1080p then.
Yeah. And then that's where the new supposed CPUs come in. Also, that's the thing, like the CPU that they use. I was reading a thing that the next generation CPU, whatever, I forgot what it was called, blah blah blah, but
yeah,
it's almost twice as powerful as the one that's already in it, but it uses less battery.
Well, hot dog.
So it's more performance with less. Yeah.
Oh, that is the thing. I was thinking about this like a couple days ago. The battery life. I would like a longer battery life.
If you can't play Breath of the Wild for 10 hours straight, then what's the point of living?
Look, I'm just saying that actually if I didn't have to like go to a job or like be a responsible human being and do things and leave the house, I probably would play Breath of the Wild for like 24 hours straight without eating or sleeping.
Yeah.
I just
Valid.
I have very poor self-control and
You have to get those Korok seeds.
I gotta
Being
get
an
those
adult is
Korok
hard.
seeds. If I didn't have to adults, that's all I would do.
All right. I believe we're ready for the mailbag.
Yes. Let's
Sorry.
talk to heckin' have some heckin' answered questions.
Do you want to do this? Chabalima, you do it. Have you done
Yes,
the intro for
do
the
it.
mailbag?
I have kind of.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, oh no, I just got a leg cramp. Someone else do it. Oh my god.
Okay, Chublima's dying.
It's gonna mess.
Excuses. Oh no, she's really gone.
Oh no, it hurts.
Oh, you know what? I thought of something though, Jesse.
Yeah.
If they instead of doing a Switch like 2.0 or whatever, they should release instead of like a Pro model console.
They should do like a Wii U
a
2.0.
Pro.
Okay, I'm back. Let's do
A
this.
Wii U Pro.
Okay. I was gonna say they should do a Pro dock. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
the dock plugs into it and just like has the extra hardware built into the dock.
Oh, yeah,
but
that'd be
make
really
sure that
cool.
things that are still at least are still compatible with just the base model, but the dock just like upscales everything. And that way, no one has to move all their stuff over. No one has to move save files over. No one has to buy another $400 console. They can just pay like, I don't know, $100 for the dock to get like the Pro experience.
Yeah.
And that would be way cooler. I don't know. I would like that. That would be in Daniel's ideal world.
They already do that with laptops. To where
There you go.
So they have like the base laptop. Sometimes it doesn't have a GPU. Sometimes it has like a weak GPU, just like whatever it needs to get by. And then it has basically like a GPU box that just has a bigger graphics card in it. And you literally just plug a cable into it, and that's it. So that way, like,
Wow.
you don't need a big clunky laptop to take with you. You can just take your laptop, and then you can have the big clunky box if you want it. That way,
That's
your
great.
laptop has really good battery life, because it doesn't have this big bulky GPU that's getting a bunch of power. And then it also stays cool because of that. So they can make the laptop like super thin and nice and have long battery life. And then if you happen to be playing a game, you can plug it into the box.
And if you're doing that, you're probably at home where you can keep the laptop plugged in to charge anyways. So, see, that's good. That's what I want. Because then the Switch, if they like really changed the CPU and really made it more powerful, then the actual console is probably going to be bigger as well. And then it kind of it's already a little too big to just like slide in your pocket and take with you. Like I can fit my 3DS in my jeans pocket. Can't do that with a Switch. So, yeah, that would be a really cool little solution there. I would totally buy 2 of them.
Yeah, that sounds like something Daniel would do.
Yeah. And then the best part would be, instead of buying like a $300 new console, you could just buy like a $150, $200 dock.
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
Yeah, like with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One and the Xbox One X, you had to pay even more than the base console to have the better experience. Whereas if it was just a dock, pay like $200, which is still cheaper than buying a new Switch. That's
the thing, and a lot of people, when there was rumors of it going out, they're like, they better not, I just got my Switch.
Yeah.
A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people were not too happy about that. And even then, me, like, it's like, okay, I only got this 2 years ago. Like, I'm not ready to move on from the Switch yet. Like, they, you know, but if they just, that's a nice little middle ground, I think. A nice workaround. Are we just holding things up? What's going on? This is my retired microphone sock. But yes, let's do the mailbag now.
Yeah, my leg cramp is gone, so I can do it.
Good. Now Kayla can do the intro.
Tubes.
I can do the intro. Okay. So
Are you
put
eating?
this granola bar down.
What do you got?
What?
What are you eating?
What?
Remember to mention
Okay.
Patreon supporters.
Don't forget.
Don't forget. Okay. Now the pressure's on. Okay. Hello everyone, and welcome to Game Over Jesse's channel, where we are going to do the Zelda Mailbag. That's what it's called, right? The Zelda Mailbag. And
that thing.
I am Chublima, your co-host, and I'm joined here by Daniel. I don't know which side he's on, and Game Over Jesse, who is the host, who is holding up a GameCube now.
Yes, we're just holding
up
things up. We're just holding things up.
Okay. Alright, so don't forget that to make sure that your question is answered guaranteed, you can become a Patreon supporter by going to, what is the website, Daniel?
Patreon.com/GameOverJesse.
Oh,
that one.
Yeah, that one.
Go become a patron on Patreon.
Yeah, good job. And yeah, so I'm gonna get Jesse to answer the first question, because I don't...
I don't know. I'm just
How am I
grabbing
supposed to do
random
the
things.
intro when you guys are doing this?
You can't.
I'm so sorry that you guys are even a fan of us. I'm so sorry. Stop hurting him!
Poor Goku.
I didn't know his hands came off too.
Oh.
You know what? I'm just gonna ask the first question because I don't know what's wrong
Okay.
with you two.
Yes. Let's ask the first question. Man, Goku's shredded.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Maya in the chat said, holding up things, but you can't hold up my self-esteem, and I...
Aww.
Oh,
Yikes.
Maya made us really cool fan art.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I loved it.
Shout
We're
out to her.
cute.
Well, yes,
We're
thank you,
finally-
Matt. I will
someone-
have to tweet it later. I've been busy.
Successfully made me adorable in some sense.
Is this the new
I'm like
game? What
super-
does Jesse do?
So,
I'm like super brown in the drawing, but you know what? I'm okay with that. I need to be a little bit darker.
you got a
I get
heck...
that tan.
We
got a
got
wicked
$2. Not just
Aw,
Jesse.
thank you,
all
Tazzer.
are cool.
We're all cool. I'm sorry you're so
Yes.
mistaken, but thank you for the donation. The truth is, none of us are cool.
No. No.
But we love you. Thank you, Mr. Taser.
Thank you.
83.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I
84.
said Tazzer. It's probably Taser. Dang.
Tazzer, we are on the Zelda mailbag and you donated, so if you have a question,
Yeah.
Ask us your question.
finger guns.
We will... Oh, I bumped my microphone with my
Alright,
aggressive
Chubes,
finger
Choobs,
guns.
you
Can I
had a
ask a
question.
question
Yes,
yet?
you can.
I do.
Do it.
So, Zinfadel Glitter asks, I'm gonna say, who's the best girl for you in Zelda? Ship-wise, or just good writing kind of thing? Which, you guys all know my favorite girl is Midna. Midna is an amazing character.
Midna is best girl.
Midna is
best
good.
girl.
Yes. Tell us more.
You guys are totally excluding Mifa, but that's totally cool. But
you know what? I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I'm not really into Mifa. I don't think she's a very well written character, and she's very flat.
it's because you're not into fish girls.
Okay, that's probably it.
That's horrible.
No, I just think she's a very two-dimensional character compared to the other characters. The other, you know.
At first when you said she's very flat, I thought you were discriminating against Mifa's flat chest.
No,
because Midna is very blessed.
Because I need more booty. No, it's but no. I just think she's just not that interesting a character. You know who's cool and kicks butt? Urbosa. I love Urbosa. I don't know what it is. She's just
Here's a very classic example of Daniel discriminating against flat characters and non-flat characters. Mifa, Urbosa.
What I'm saying is that Urbosa has some depth to her character. I mean, not just because she's shredded, but also because she has character. She has personality. And Mifa has like no personality. Her personality is like, I'm in love with Link, but he doesn't love me back, so I'm kind of sad about it most of the time. But I'm also like just gonna be loyal still, anyways. And that was it. That's all they got. Which is okay. That's not a bad thing in itself. But I just feel like it's the least interesting character in the whole game. And then people love her. And I'm like, why? Sidon is here.
We can have Zelda.
Excuse
I don't
me?
understand. Who would put the crown on to make Zelda? Ganon?
No, I think Zelda would.
Yeah, right? Is that how
But
it
when
works?
What does she turn into after?
Okay.
The
Just-
entire
just-
idea between that is a dude puts the crown on and they turn into a female.
Yes.
Oh.
Or a non-human character puts the crown on and turns into an overly sexualized
Yeah, so technically,
Weird
Link, if he put on the
13-year-old
crown, he would
boy's
turn
fantasy.
into Linkle.
I want that.
Link cat.
We can
Link
play
cat?
as Linkle. That's how we get Linkle in a game.
Okay, so in the chat, Rabbit23GSO says, she died, Daniel. I know. Okay.
To be fair,
I
they all
know.
died.
So did Urbosa, though.
Sidon is best waifu. I think this the title of this video will be "Who is best Zelda waifu?"
Okay. Yeah, but
We're pronouncing it wrong. It's waifu.
Waifu,
Like
waifu.
your waifu, like wafer cookie. Yes, can I have one of those waifus? Like crunchy waifu in every bite of Kit Kat.
All right. Next question. Yeah.
Oh, what? You didn't answer, Jesse.
I did. I said Mifa. Yeah. No, not
You
Mifa.
said
God,
Mifa,
no. Wait.
I just said not Mifa.
Midna. Yeah.
Kayla said Midna.
Okay.
Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
Because
You're agreeing on Midna.
Midna, I want Twilight Princess 2. Love for Midna.
Yes. Very good.
All right. Good
Hi,
answer.
Daniel.
Also, I
10
really
out of
like Tetra as a character. She's
Oh.
bomb. I'm just saying.
Uh,
She's not. I don't know if I ship it, but Tetra's a bomb character. She's tough.
Rabbit
she's
says
feisty.
we're all amazing.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, with Tetra. Tetra is
I'm gonna get disowned
Zelda.
by. I'm gonna get disowned by Axel. He's never gonna talk to me again because I've just said because Axel's not really a fan of Wind Waker and the dude loves Mifa. So if Axel ever watches this, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm really sorry.
You're also forgetting our main man, Rivali. He'd be upset that you don't like Mifa either, even though he hasn't played the game.
Oh, Sean
He's
Chiplock.
probably,
Yeah.
he's
I was
probably
like, why
played the game. by
Rivali
now.
is a very selfless character. Why? No, now I understand. I was like really lost for a second. I was like,
Oh,
Kayla, this
my
isn't
gosh.
real. It's fiction, you know. Yes. So next question. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Agatha.
Whoever has
is
one.
nice.
Agatha actually gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Oh.
I find her incredibly creepy.
In Twilight Princess or Hyrule Warriors?
In Twilight Princess. Okay, here's a weird thing. In Twilight Princess, if you've got a bug and let's say you trade it to her, she gives you money, right?
Yeah, it's like Stritch, right?
Yeah. Now, if you say your wallet's full and you're like, I'm gonna spend some money and then come back later and fill up rupees, you start to walk out the door, she'll stop you and just say creepy, I know you have more bugs before you walk out the door, and it's terrifying. It's just terrifying. Also, my Discord. I hope you guys can see me okay, because my Discord kind of stopped working.
Yeah,
okay,
we see you.
I can't see you guys.
Maya says, could you say Agatha bugs you?
This is my Discord right now, guys. It's a blank. It's a blank screen.
Yeah, you don't need to see it anyways. It's fine.
Oh well.
So I actually did a quick Google image search of Agatha, and the first thing I saw was Linkle and Agatha kissing.
Perfect.
Thanks, Amino.
I found some pretty raunchy stuff trying to just look for normal Zelda related things, and I've had regrets about it. I'm like, it's time to turn on safe search. So who's choosing
our
the
next
next question? Yes.
Daniel.
Okay, muted Mike asks, why'd you not check Twitch?
Yeah, Jesse, how come you hate Twitch so much? You
check
never change it. Every time, whenever we start streaming, it's like, oh, Fortnite with subs.
That's not really the question I was gonna pick though. But
I'm sorry. I literally went to Twitch earlier. I have it up, but I was just off the tab. Alright, he says, is it just me, or is Daniel lagging a lot camera-wise? Daniel can read, add, never mind going to YouTube. W1M.
Huh?
I don't know, it's just this is what he said on Twitch. So we read the Twitch chat.
Am I lagging?
There are 3 people who hate me that were watching on Twitch.
Oh, sorry guys.
Me, whenever I restream to YouTube though, and Twitch is like, why does Kayla hate us? And I have 14 people and they're just starting a riot.
Everyone's saying spork knife. Okay, Daniel, question, right?
Okay, Mr. Whale asks, in your opinions, which game is better, A Link to the Past or Minish Cap? I briefly mentioned this before we actually started streaming while curating our questions. But for me, it's A Link to the Past, no context. No contest. Not no context. I can't speak. No contest is A Link to the Past. That could very partially be for nostalgia reasons, because I love the heck out of A Link to the Past. But it's got more dungeons, it's got more overworld, it's got more items, it's got more of that Triforce thing and Ganon in it. It feels like a more complete game to me. I didn't have Kinstones, which is also a plus. Yeah, I just feel like and this is no bash to Minish Cap. I like it, but I don't feel like it's the superior game. That's me. What do you guys think?
I think you're completely right.
Good. Now I can leave.
Yeah. So I said this before we began. Minish Cap is, although technically, like graphic-wise, because it's a 32-bit game, not a 16-bit game, graphically, it's better. But there are people that like the 16-bit style more. But anyways, Minish Cap is made like a 2D Zelda game made to be played as a handheld game. So it's a lot shorter than a traditional home console game, which A Link to the Past, although 2D, was made to be a home console game. That is why Minish Cap is a lot shorter of a game than A Link to the Past. So my vote is A Link to the Past, because there's a lot more cooler side quests and there's no Kinstones. So in your face.
My answer for that. Wait.
I also hate the dungeon where you have to do the minecart stuff.
Oh, really? I thought that was one of the more creative parts.
I've played the beginning of Minish Cap like 50 times, and getting up that mountain and then doing that dungeon's really...
That's how I feel with the beginning of Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword.
Yep.
Because I've replayed the beginning so many times.
You don't like
the time it takes you to get to the first dungeon in Twilight Princess on a normal, leisurely, non-speedrun playthrough,
and Skyward Sword too,
is over 3 hours.
You have to play hide and seek with all of the Kikwis.
It is ridiculous. So, yes.
I like Kinstones.
You're wrong.
I'm sorry, Scorch.
My answer to that question is that I haven't played Minish Cap, so I'm picking Link to the Past. That was the other game, right?
You haven't played Minish Cap? Have you played any of the Capcom Zelda games? You've never played a Capcom Zelda game?
Zelda games.
Did you play the Game Boy Advanced version of A Link to the Past?
I didn't have a Game Boy Advance.
Amaya seems shocked when I said over 3 hours, but yeah, you gotta. Twilight Princess, you gotta do the farming stuff. You gotta watch some cutscenes, and you gotta pull them to Twilight, and you gotta collect some bugs, and then you gotta get out of there, and then find your way to the Forest Temple, and then from like starting point to when you enter Forest Temple, that's like more than 3 hours. I am not even joking. I timed it once. Jesse, Jesse is back. He's just invisible. Okay, he's invisible. It's okay. It's all right, everybody.
He got really upset because I haven't played Minish Cap. So I'm gonna start. I guess I'm gonna start streaming all of the Zelda games. So
hey, wait, that's what I'm doing. You a copycat. Jeez.
Sorry.
Also, I just want to say, guys, that we don't think Minish Cap's a bad game. Just A Link to the Past does a lot of things better. That's.
Well, Link to the Past
I did enjoy Minish
Cap. It's an amazing game. It's really good. Like the soundtrack is bumping.
It's bumping.
The little dungeons are bumping.
They're bumping.
It's the entirety of that game.
Also,
Welcome back,
there's one thing with Minish Cap that I feel like falls short for me, and that's like kind of a wasted potential. Winking Jesse. Oh yeah, my Discord's back, by the way. I can see things again. Yay! When you shrink down, I want that to be like the alternate world in A Link to the in Minish Cap. So A Link to the Past is like the Dark World. Ocarina of Time, you travel back and forth 7 years. There's, I guess, the Twilight Realm. I don't know, but a lot of games have like an alternate world, right? In Minish Cap, it would be so cool if all the areas of the game were explorable as tiny, tiny Link. But it's only really used in very circumstantial places. Like it's almost very scripted. And then there are times in the overworld where you do shrink down, you just walk around and it's just the same, but you're tiny and you can't attack the enemies. And it seems a little, I don't know, like a wasted potential. Like they have a really good idea and they didn't put it to good use as much as they could have. Probably limited by the hardware, but still.
Jesse wanting to interrupt, but being like,
sorry. sorry, Jesse.
No,
what were you gonna say?
It got me excited, but I didn't want to be rude to interrupt you. So like every time you like broke sentences, I thought you were about to stop, but then you had another one, so I was like,
I have too many sentences.
No, so Breath of the Wild, we know originally was supposed to have a Minish village, Minish-like village. As large as Breath of the Wild was, what if you shrunk down to the size of a Minish so that Breath of the Wild was literally 100 times bigger?
It's fine. The Guardians are already terrifying enough as it is.
Oh
yeah, but what if you could climb inside a Guardian? Because there's Armos statue enemies in Minish Cap, and you can defeat them by climbing inside them when you shrink down. So just imagine climbing inside a Guardian, and it's like looking around for you, and it's all scary piano music, and you just go inside it and like pull the plug or something, and
turn the volume.
Just like take that little like core, like the little ball thing, like you pull the core out.
You just like put it in your pocket.
And you just pocket it.
No, so you find out that the reason you hear that techno music is because inside all of the Guardians are speakers that just play that song on repeat.
Oh, I was gonna say there's a little tiny guy inside. He's like playing the piano. There's a Sheikah monk inside. He's sitting cross-legged with the tiny piano, and he's like. Fantastic. 10 out of 10 game.
Next question, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
It's your turn, Jesse. We're freaking out the chat.
Minish Breath of the Wild. Yes, it would be fair.
To be fair, I haven't seen these two goofs since Daniel poisoned me, so...
Oops.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so this one is an easy
one. We told everyone you drowned in cheese pizzas, just so you know, so we gotta get our story straight.
From Maya, who was on the last podcast, asks,
yes.
I picked this one because I don't think it'll get us on a tangent. And there's already people talking about music in the chat, so it goes along with it. What Zelda game has the best soundtrack? Scorch in the chat says, Guru plays the Guardian music. Confirmed. So he's just inside each of the Guardians.
I love it. This is a difficult question. I'm gonna say A Link Between Worlds. It's got A Link to the Past's awesome soundtrack, but reorchestrated, and it's large and epic, and it's really good. I love it. That's probably my favorite, but a lot of it is nostalgia fueled, so I don't know if it's a unbiased answer, because a lot of it is those, like the Dark World theme or the classic Legend of Zelda theme that I grew up playing with A Link to the Past, but instead of being 16-bit, it's got a proper band playing it, so... but actually, no, that's just for good songs. Like, someone in the chat mentioned Majora's Mask, and Majora's Mask has a very thematic soundtrack that is really good. Not like, oh, I could listen to this on repeat and I love it, good, but like ties into the world really well.
Yeah.
And it's really thematic. There's a lot of themes that are, I don't know, just that it just runs really well, and it's a very down soundtrack a lot of the times. Even there's a YouTube channel called 8-Bit Music Theory, and they did a rundown of like all the different Zelda themes, and he mentions how in Majora's Mask, it's like the classic Hyrule Field theme, but like there's parts of it that are the same but played in minor key instead. So even though, and then the way that the drum beat is, it has like sort of militant sound to it. So it makes this classic theme that everyone knows have kind of this dark undertone to it. Even though it sounds like it's a uplifting theme, it's got this layer underneath it that's really good, and really not really good from like the audience sense, but really dark and like intense, but as like an undertone. So it's very like, it's not a trumpet, you have to listen for it, and it's good. I'm just gushing, but I can't put proper sentences together.
No, it makes sense though. So with Majora's Mask, it's hard for me to say that has the best, because like 3/4 of the music is just left over from Ocarina of Time. Like you have the Song of Storms, you have the Song of Time, you have all of these things that are just carried over. But the songs that, like Clocktown, which is original to Majora's Mask, is very good. Stone Tower Temple is amazing.
I actually think a lot of the the songs that you play as Link are carried over, but a lot of the actual soundtrack is new, other than like the house theme, you know, and shop theme, you know, like those ones. But I think like there's Termina Field theme is not an Ocarina of Time, Clocktown theme is not, and then all the different area themes, like you know, like Southern Swamps theme, which is, they're all remixes of each other, but those are original, and all the dungeons have original music too. Even the battle music is actually a new theme. It's different than Ocarina of Time, so similar but different. But
so
the point is, I don't agree with you, Jessica.
All right, my favorite is My favorite song, period, is from Skyward Sword, when Link and Zelda are meeting during that first cutscene.
Ooh.
I think
Skyward Sword's good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the Ballad of the Goddess or
if
it's just the Skyward Sword theme.
But wait, when they first meet in the sky? Though,
no, when they're like hanging out and then
I'm pretty sure it's the Ballad of the Goddess, but nobody's singing.
Yeah, Kaebora comes up and he's like, "Hey," because he's speaking gibberish.
It's it's a track. It's just called Romance.
Oh.
And it's a track that's separate from the Ballad of the Goddess.
So Romance.
And it's just called Romance. If I'm recalling correctly, I might be wrong on this.
Nintendo's already shipping them.
Yeah, Nintendo's shipping them for us.
What's his name? Gaebora? Because he's named after the bird.
Gabora.
Yeah.
If I'm remembering correctly. I don't know what this means, guys, but I squeezed my note.
But the song that I like, that would be my favorite song. But I also really like the Skyloft theme. But then like Twilight Princess, Ordon Village is really amazing. I think Nintendo put a lot more focus on the songs in the beginning areas than they do the other areas, because that's your first introduction to the game. Like you spend a lot of time in Skyloft, you spend a lot of time in Ordon Village before you ever get anywhere, and even Kokiri Forest, Clocktown. Like the beginning areas tend to be a lot better than others. Spirit Tracks has like a very unique soundtrack that I love.
I like Spirit Tracks soundtrack too. Yes.
Yeah, but I never like think of Spirit Tracks when I'm thinking of good Zelda music though.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know the 25th anniversary soundtrack disc that came with Skyward Sword? There's like a medley in it, and part of that medley is the overworld theme from Spirit Tracks, but it's orchestrated.
Yeah.
And it sounds amazing. Like the Spirit Tracks' soundtrack is so good, but it's so held back by the really bad DS speakers. Like the DS just can't put out the sound quality that that soundtrack deserves. Phantom Hourglass has no soundtrack. It's really bland. So I'm just saying.
This is like a really hard question, because I really like the Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword soundtrack. But then at the same time, it's like there are like certain songs from each game that I like the most. So like, one of my favorites is the boss music for Ganon's first form in Twilight Princess, when you're fighting him and he's like the beast.
Yeah.
But for me, like, that soundtrack is just hilarious. That soundtrack is a meme in my friend group.
Oh. No, it's a really good, like, very high fantasy epic soundtrack in Twilight Princess. It's very...
Yeah. I'd have to pick Skyward Sword, definitely, though, because I feel like that's the one, like, when I first started playing Skyward Sword, it stood out to me compared to every other Zelda game I've played. That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, oh my gosh, this soundtrack.
It's that orchestration. It makes such a big difference. It's fantastic. This is a hard question, and that's a huge testament to how good this series music has been. Also, I guess I would be remiss if I didn't mention Breath of the Wild, which a lot of people are like, it doesn't really have a soundtrack. There's a lot of ambience, but whenever a song does come up, it's like 10 out of 10.
It's good.
It's like 10. Also, just check out the Akela Ancient Tech Lab music, and you're like suddenly in Techno Town, and you're like, what's happening? It's cool.
You're bumping. But even then, I love the ambience that they had.
It's like, very fitting for the world, and considering how much time you spend in, like, imagine if Twilight Princess's overworld theme, imagine that, but on Breath of the Wild's overworld, okay? How many hours do you spend listening to that song before you hate it?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think like the way that they did it was really well done, because they could have done literally anything else and we would have went crazy. It'd be like me watching you play Zelda 1.
Oh yeah, the game that has like 3 songs in it. Yeah. Oh, you didn't even finishing that stream up, playing through the last dungeon, trying to find my way to Ganon. I was like knocking my head on the table.
Oh
I was
my
like getting so
gosh.
lost in that dungeon, and that dungeon theme is thankfully not. That's the one dungeon that has a different theme song than the
Yeah.
other ones, but it's still pretty annoying after a while. I was like ready to drown myself until Gus in the chat was like, "Did you try bombing that one wall?" I was like, I think I did. I was like bombing every wall in that dungeon, trying to find my way through it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the one I didn't bomb was the right one. So Gus saved my arse. But
Thank you, Gus.
All right, so final 3 questions, guys.
yes.
Oh my gosh, we're doing 3 more?
Yeah, we're gonna try to get
Alright.
through them really quick though. Like I
Okay,
picked the
let's-
last question because I thought it would be quick, because it's
wasn't.
just like, what's your favorite Zelda soundtrack? You just name a game. But no,
it was
we
a
got
hard
lost on
one.
a tangent. Choose.
Sorry. Sorry, Jesse.
For the Zelda mailbag, Chaplima, what question do you
Chaplima.
pick?
Sorry, I'm
What is
making
it?
faces, but I'm looking at the questions.
What's the question? You have something hanging out of
Ah.
your nose.
It's my piercing.
Do you have something hanging
So?
out of your hair? It looks like a microphone.
DJ Danny D88 asks, are there any added features for Smash Ultimate that you would like to see? And I would like to say, I really want to see like their solo mode again, like the adventure mode that they had. That was
Yes.
awesome, and we haven't seen anything of it. Like we've seen the main screen, we know there's something there that we're missing. I'm hoping that it's going to be an adventure mode.
Are you thinking like Subspace Emissary from Brawl
Yeah.
adventure mode, or okay? Because I would like that, but I would also like a bite-sized adventure mode, like in Melee, where you can play through it
They were
basically in
both
one
really
sitting.
good. It's
I
hard. Yeah.
I want both. I'm selfish.
Yeah.
I want everything.
I like
Yes.
the mini one because then like you kind of complete them all in different characters and you start unlocking different things. Like I like that about it, but at the same time
Yes.
it's still kind of grindy.
But the Subspace Emissary was great as a way to unlock characters,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I'd
and that
probably
was
go
that.
Subspace Emissary.
But I want both. Is that a new feature though? It just says added feature. He didn't say new.
Yeah, exactly. That's a feature that doesn't exist in it currently that they would add.
That we know of. Better online play is mine.
Buzz and
'Cause
Tate gives us 1
Smash-
Canadian doll hair.
What?
What?
That's
Aw,
only like a quarter.
Chris. Thank you. For the...
that's only
No,
like a
don't be
West.
rude.
No, I'm
Thank
joshing
you-
you. I'm
thank
kidding.
You, Buzz. Thank you, Buzz.
Thank
If
you,
you have a
Chris.
question,
Thank you, sir.
we will answer it. If you have a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
I'm
Give
just
us your
trolling. I'm
questions
sorry.
and don't
Yeah.
ask why you didn't see me as Waluigi at Fan Expo on Saturday because you weren't there.
Wait, is he a real person?
Yeah, I know him in person.
Oh.
I ran into our mutual friend Ian at Fan Expo on Saturday.
Wait, so do you know him from real life or do you know him from the YouTube stuff?
From real life.
Okay.
I used to hang out with their friend group like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Nice. And then you got too cool for them and you don't talk to them like you didn't talk to Daniel and I for like 3 weeks.
What? How
It was
dare you?
'cause-
You're the one that has been talking
It's
to
because
us.
I poisoned her. it's all my
True.
fault.
But yeah, Chris, if you have a question, feel free to ask it. We're gonna answer some other questions right now, though.
Yeah, we got
Yes.
2 more questions, so you can be the last question if you give one. Daniel, pick out the penultimate question.
Penultimate question. Da, 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 da. Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know if I should grab that one. Some of these questions I'm like, oh, this might be too difficult to choose. But I'm just going to go with it anyways. It says, this is kind of further to our Minish Cap Link's Past debate, but the question from Draco Tsunga is, which Zelda game is your number 1? Ever.
Oh, shoot.
Jesse.
I guess I have to say, like, it's a tie between Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild for being best Zelda game.
But is it your number 1? Personally, in your heart.
So, I'm gonna go with the Majora's Mask.
That was neither of the ones you just
I'm
No, okay.
Minish
Majora's
Cap.
Mask. Good. It's good. Majora's Mask is
Minish
good.
Cap.
Okay, why Minish Cap?
No, it's sarcasm. Earlier
Okay,
we just said
Majora's
Link to the
Mask.
Past was better than Minish Cap. And
Okay,
then, yeah.
why? Okay.
Majora's Mask.
Go
'Cause
on.
It feels alive, right?
I agree, yes.
Yeah, like the characters actually they do stuff. Breath of the Wild kind of has that, but not to the extent that we need. Skyward Sword kind of touched on it, where that woman's like, after you return from Fair on Wood, she's like, my daughter's disappeared, help me. And then she's chilling with the monster.
He's a nice guy.
He is.
What does this have to do with it being your favorite game?
Because the
Those
side
are
quests and
Those
the
are good things.
characters and stuff.
I suck.
I choose Breath of the Wild, and it's just because I haven't stopped playing it since it released. I'm on my 3rd playthrough. I'm nearing 600 hours of gameplay on it. I can't stop, and it's too good. So, I'm sorry. I love other Zelda games, obviously, but it's probably taken the #1 spot for me, which is insane. It's been a year and a half since it released, and I probably put more hours into Breath of the Wild than I have any other Zelda game.
The DLC is amazing. Like the
For Breath of the
DLC,
Wild?
yeah, it's not what I wanted, but like the beginning of the Champions Ballad is just amazing.
What I think is the better way to do the DLC is to play it midway through the game. So when I first released, I'd already beaten the game, so I finished the game and then played the DLC. But it's better if you do the DLC and then you do it halfway through the game, and then you have a powered up badass Master Sword and a motorcycle that you can.
A motorcycle. He says as he picks up his microphone.
That you can finish exploring Hyrule using, because the first time I played through it, it was after I'd beaten the game, so I just beat the DLCs and I was like, okay, now I have this stuff that I have no use for.
Dude,
there's no reason to have it. But if you do the 4 Divine Beasts, then you do the DLC, and then you finish exploring the world and wrap up everything, and then go fight Ganon, it just feels a lot more complete that way. So it's a much tighter experience.
Give us Breath of the Wild Master Quest.
Okay, I'll give you. I'll call my friend Miyamoto.
Rearrange all 120 dungeons.
I don't think you guys want me to talk into my mic like that.
Remixed Overworld.
My #1 is Ocarina of Time.
Ilya's missing out.
You're wrong.
I know that seems really lame, but that game holds like the most like nostalgic value to me, and I've probably beat it like 40 times.
That's a good answer. I probably beat Ocarina of Time like until like the last like few years. I would just play through it every year during the summer. I would just beat it once a year. Probably not 40 times, but a lot of times. Whoa!
Super chat.
Marsupial Gamer.
What does it say, Jablima?
Thank you, John. John says, or Marsupial Gamer says,
it's your
don't
friend?
tell me I never gave you guys anything. He comes to my stream sometimes when I'm actually streaming.
What a good guy.
Fun fact, guys, I stopped streaming Banjo-Kazooie, and I've been on hiatus because I have rage quit Banjo-Kazooie. Done that game.
Oh no!
I need to find a new game to play. Anyways, so John says, don't tell me I never give you guys anything. LOL, no question. Just keep up the good work, and let Kayla stream more.
It's not our fault. She gave up on it.
She can literally stream anytime she wants.
Mm-hmm.
She has the login.
I tried to stream and play Banjo-Kazooie, but whatever like level I was on last when I stopped playing, I tried picking it up and I just wanted to like beat that level so that way I could get to Click Clock Wood, and I game overed. And I was like, that's it. I'm not playing this game ever again. I need a new game to play.
Marsupial says no more Banjo. Okay, yeah, so here's a question. After your Banjo pursuit, after you fill yourself with enough Banjo that you're satisfied, you don't need to play Banjo anymore, what is the next game you play?
I was thinking either Gex 64 or doing Banjo-Tooie. I haven't decided if I actually want to go ahead and play that, because I actually haven't played that game.
What about that one obscure 64 game that you talk about?
That one that people... Oh, Mystical Ninja Star and Goemon. I can't.
Oh.
I have been looking for a copy of that game. It's nowhere to be found. I went to the retro fan, the retro game store. I can't find it, and I can't emulate it because it's glitchy.
Maybe find a copy
laggy.
on Amazon or eBay or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right.
Maybe. I would really like to play that because...
When's your birthday again?
Not until July. Thanks
Oh wait,
for
it already
asking.
passed. It already
I'll
passed.
buy it for your birthday. It's fun.
You'll buy it for my
Alright.
birthday?
So, last question.
I
Right?
meant for you. But yes,
Yeah.
last question.
Did the donator have a question that donated a minute ago?
He said he did
No,
not.
he said he didn't have a question.
Explicitly.
Does Marsupial have a question?
That's who donated.
Yeah.
No, not
John
Marsupial.
is
The one before
Marsupial.
Marsupial.
Oh,
Oh, Chris? No, he didn't have a question.
no.
Okay.
He
was
just said something about, I think,
Alright.
being cool. So.
Tubes, pick a question for the 30 people that's still watching this bizarre nonsense.
Oh, wait. Jen, the unzipped file. Happy birthday.
Happy,
I said
happy
file,
birthday,
unzipped
Jen.
life.
Jen,
Unzipped
if you
life.
want to hurry up and give us a
Jen.
question, we will answer it for your birthday.
Yes. There we go. While she thinks of that, I'm just going to answer Marsupial's question real quick. He
He asked
says,
a
for
question.
streaming Switch,
Oh.
would you guys still recommend the Elgato? Yes. I use an Elgato. There's too many wires here.
Elgato sent me one for free.
I spent my money on it, but I would definitely recommend Elgato. It's a very easy to use, very reliable capture card. So
Yeah.
the answer is yes.
I think it's literally the one that almost everyone uses.
Yeah, mine
I
is
haven't
the
used
one
my
that's
Elgato
like
yet, but...
technically one generation behind. Like this is not the newest one. It's
Can you
the
move it above your
second most
microphone? I
recent.
can't see it.
So it's
Oh, that's
this
the one
one.
I have.
That one has
Okay.
the plugins for the RGB though, right?
That's why I chose this one over the newest one. Is the newest one is only HDMI, but this one has the plugins for you can do. I wanted that one because then I can technically hook up my older consoles like Man60 to it,
And they look the
without-
same.
The other one's a little bit different. The newer one, it's a bit sleeker.
No. I
'Cause
mean
my-
like the visual output. The video
Is
feed
it?
To
that
the
you
chat.
Is it
record.
different?
You guys
Is it
start
different?
It
asking
looks the same.
questions instead of saying you have
Oh.
them.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Jen, you gotta give us the question. It's your birthday.
Yes.
It's your
Birthday
birthday. We
question.
gotta answer the question for your birthday.
Or literally anyone else that
Yeah,
has
we're
questions.
just
There's like two other
last
people in chat,
question.
they're like,
First
"I have
one that comes up.
questions."
Come on. I saw The Legend of Zelda. I've seen Zelda.
I've seen
Oh my
dogs. I'm gonna paint 12
I'm
of
so
them.
excited to hang out with you guys again next year.
I've seen dogs.
You don't have to wait a year to hang out with me.
I mean Jesse.
Oh yeah, I guess
maybe-
he's here
maybe
too.
Ilya will be as well.
Oh, Marsupial's ordering it now. Wow, well
Nice.
that was a quick turnaround for that recommendation.
What do you think the next Zelda game will be like? It will be like Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
We have like 50 videos talking about that. But yeah, Breath of the Wild, Miyamoto said he wanted, or not Miyamoto, from Aonuma's
Aonuma.
own words, the person in charge of creating the next Zelda game, said he wants to take Breath of the Wild, the game engine, and what he learned from Triforce Heroes and mix it together, which implies some sort of multiplayer version of Breath of the Wild. Or a Zelda game, at least using the Breath of the Wild engine. And just because it uses the same engine doesn't mean it has to look the same. Wind Waker and Twilight Princess used the same engine and they looked completely opposite.
It's true. And Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild use
You've
the same
seen
engine.
Zelda.
So true story about that.
Alright, was that the last one?
I guess.
I think so.
That was a
Video-
question, and then that was an answer. So
Yeah, Jen never gave a question. We can count down from 10 for Jen.
I don't know how to count.
10,
Tell you, man.
9,
9.
8, 7. We're giving you a chance, Jen. It's your birthday. Give us a question. 8, 7, 6, 5. Kayla's new awesome
Look at my new
backpack.
backpack.
We're stalling for time. Look at all those pins. Some of them came from E3. 5.
3 again.
4.
Still 3.
3.
2.
2. Jennifer, you're making this really awkward for us. 2.
Juan is a guy I know. His name's Juan.
1.5. Okay,
He's
since you
number
were talking about
one.
streaming, what game do you think is...
Well, which one of us?
We just asked that to Kayla.
Oh, it's okay, Jen. Yeah, I think I'm either gonna play Gex or Banjo-Tooie. I don't know what Daniel's playing right now.
I just started Zelda 2, and it's painful. And I'm probably gonna start alternating my streaming days between playing Zelda 2 and Pikmin, because I love Pikmin. So
I like that idea.
And I've been streaming Skyward Sword.
Skyward Swordo.
Yeah, that's how they pronounce it.
On Discord, it says you've been playing Ura Zelda for the last 24 days.
That is.
That's rude. Someone's gonna think you've got
I
it.
can't stream that though.
Oh no, now it says you're streaming Skyward Sword.
That's a fan mod.
Which is not true as well.
I've been playing through.
This is a fan mod of Skyward Sword.
No, I've been playing through a fan thing of Ura Zelda.
It's a lot more linear than the original game.
Yeah.
This whole game is 3 people talking. I can't believe how long this cutscene has been going for. Okay, I'm done. I'll stop. So, Jesse.
Yeah.
I think that's the end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tis the end.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, the 30 of you. Oh my god. It went from, up to 50 to, down to, 20 and back up to 30. I don't know, what, 31? I don't know what's going on.
We lost views because I kept dropping my phone like this.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. And that one time I moved mine. And because I was holding up a sock and a controller and a... You were holding up a remote and a Goku's chest. That's where everyone tuned out.
Yeah, alright. So, I guess that's the end of episode 56 of the Hylian Gamescast. Thank you all for watching. Thanks everyone for joining in the chat. Thank you, Chablima, for joining in, chatting with us. Thank you, Capt Bergerson, for joining in, chatting with us. Oh yeah, the PlayStation 5 news. Daniel had to leave before a certain time, so sorry guys.
That certain time is in literally 1 minute.
Yeah.
So,
so really quick, Daniel, where can people find you?
You can find me when I can speak sentences. Follow me, please, on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at Capt Bergerson, CaptBurgerson. And I also have a website called Bergerson Media where I put things on that website sometimes. You can look at it if you want to, just with your eyeballs. And also there's a YouTube channel. I've been in the chat for those watching NSHG films, where I have not posted anything in a long time. So that's me.
Chablima.
Wow.
Where can people find you?
I'm Chablima. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, at Chablima. Also, I highly suggest you guys go find my Twitter. Take a look at my Waluigi cosplay, because it's hilarious. I went to Fan Expo Vancouver and had an amazing time. All of the pictures are there.
Hi, I am Jesse, Game Over Jesse, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, maybe? I don't know.
Snapchat.
I want new followers on Instagram, so follow me there. Everything is /GameOverJesse. We recently passed 1,100 people in the Discord server, which by far is the most active and popular dedicated Zelda Discord server there is. I guess the next one would be Zelda Informer or Zelda Universe, and they haven't reached 1,000 yet. Some of the other popular Zelda servers are kind of dead, but mine's not, because we always get in there and chat with people.
Bumpin'.
So I feel like I like to brag about that now, that we literally have the most popular Zelda Discord server in the world.
Woot woot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, or at least to my knowledge. Yeah. So go follow Tubes. Go play RuneScape with her. Go play, whatever. Go play Zelda 2 multiplayer with with Daniel, and play some Skyward Sword with me. Bye, everyone.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Jesse just he was like, bye, everyone.
Just
He
hung
left.
up.